Welcome to my channel, and hopefully welcome back to my channel. I know we all have a lot of time on our hands right now, and it's a good time to be planning motorcycle trips. So today I wanted to provide a suggestion and a recommendation of a place you should consider riding your motorcycle to, and that is Big Bend National Park. If you don't know where Big Bend National Park is located, it is in the southwest corner of Texas, bordered by the Rio Grande River and Mexico, where the river divides Mexico from the United States. It is a long ways out there. It's one of the least visited national parks, but I think it's worth visiting. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons today on why I think you should make this one of your motorcycle destination trips. So stick around and we'll talk about that. All right, let me start off by saying I am not a Texas apologist. I don't think everything is bigger in Texas. I'm not waiting for the day I get to move to Texas. I don't wear my class ring from graduating from a Texas university. It's just another place to visit. However, when I think of Texas, I think of oil fields, I think of farming and cattle, and I think of flat wind when you think of West Texas. The mountains of this area where Big Bend is, it was not at all what I expected, and it was really a fantastic surprise when I got down there. It has peaks that are in the 5,000 to 6,000 foot mark, which, you know, when you're in 2,000 to 3,000 feet, to get up to that point was really unexpected and a fun thing to see. It was a fun thing to see. So that's why I recommend going to see Big Bend, because it'll change your perspective on Texas, and you'll get to actually see some desert mountains. And that's exactly what they are. They are desert mountains. One of the areas does climb pretty high. You get into pine trees, and you know, a little bit higher elevation, it changes the temperatures as well, which I'll talk about later. So that's number 5, is to go see the mountains of Texas. All right, reason number 4 Big Bend is a great destination location is because in the early spring, late fall, when it's cold and snowy and rainy and weather isn't great in a lot of other northern locations, this is a great place to go. I spent the first day and a half of my riding to get to Big Bend riding in snow and 30, 40, and 50 degree temperatures. But once I got down to the valley floor of Big Bend, it was in the mid to upper 80s, which was a great change. I enjoyed the heat. I enjoyed being warm for a change. I was able to shed some layers and just ride much more comfortably as opposed to being all bundled up. So in my opinion, riding when it's warm like that is a great reason to go someplace. So that's reason number 4 on why you should consider going to Big Bend National Park. Reason number 3 you should consider visiting Big Bend National Park is because of the roads in and around the park. They're really scenic. There's a lot of curvy roads. There's some fun roads to ride. There is some dirt road opportunities, not a lot, but there is some. I really recommend riding Old Maverick Road, which is on the western side of the park. It's a 10 or 14 mile dirt road that connects basically from Cottonwood Campground up to the western entrance of the park. There's a sign that says, make sure you have full fuel. You'll be fine. As long as you've got half a tank, you'll be able to get to the next town, which is a little village called Terralingua. Now, off of this road, there's also some primitive camping, which I'll talk about later, but that's important because the Terralingua campground is really fantastic. When you ride Old Maverick Road, you'll go past this small little house. It doesn't really even look like a house. It looks like it was buried or sunk, and it's called the Luna Jackal House. It's where Luna had raised his family around, I guess, the turn of the century. There's some information there, but to go see this house, it's pretty remarkable to think about someone raising a family in this place. I also recommend you ride Highway 170, which is out of the village of Terralingua, that goes through Big Bend Ranch State Park. It goes right along the U.S.-Mexico border, right along the Rio Grande River, through canyons, in and around different areas. It's really curvy, it's hilly, it's fun, it's scenic, and if you're in that area, you're likely not ever to get there again, so ride that road to make sure you get a chance to see some other areas, and it kind of fills in if you didn't get a lot of time to spend at Big Bend, but it fills in some of those areas. I didn't get a lot of time because things were changing, things were closing, I needed to get home. I'm glad I rode that Highway 170. It really added to the fun and excitement of riding my motorcycle down to the national park. So number 3 is because of the roads. It is worth making that trip down to Big Bend. with a little bit of off-road riding and then the roads in and around the area through the mountainous areas of Texas. All right, reason number 2 I think you should go to Big Bend National Park is for the backcountry or primitive camping that's offered there. There's a great campground called Terralingua Campground, which is located off of Old Maverick Road, like I had said before. This is a fantastic little place. There's one campground before you get to the end of the circular drive on the road to get into the campground, and then there's 3 campgrounds located at the end of the road. They're all numbered. They do require permits. Each of the camping spots has bear vaults available to you, if that gives you any indication of the seriousness of bears in Big Bend. Everywhere I rode there were bear signs, which is fantastic. I like going places where there's opportunities to see bears. The location was really good. You could see I think it's the Santa Teresa crack in the canyon where the river goes through from there, and there's no light pollution, so the night skies would be fantastic. I say would be because of all the changes that were going on. I wasn't able to stay there. I needed to get back, so I stopped. I looked at the campground. It looked fantastic. There was also some confusion in getting permits. It appears that it's a first come first serve getting permits at the visitor center. One of the visitor center was closed. I couldn't figure out where to get it, so I wasn't able to stay there, but I did go check it out. So if you go to Big Bend National Park, plan on camping, get a permit to go to Terralingua. The road getting in and out of there, Old Maverick Road, is not challenging, but I think because it says you need to have fuel, I think it also might say that 4-wheel drives are required, that it turns a lot of people around and they're afraid to go in there. But it's perfectly easy to get into. It's a really great place to go. If you really enjoy the night skies, then check the phases of the moon. Either have a no moon or early rise or an early set, then you'll have some fantastic skies to enjoy. So that's number 2 reason to go to Big Bend National Park, is for the backcountry camping. All right, the number 1 reason you should consider going to Big Bend is because it's a motorcycle trip. Anywhere you can go on a motorcycle is a great trip. I'm not so focused that every trip I take has to be off-road focused. It doesn't have to be dirt roads, it doesn't have to be sand, rocks, gravel. I still enjoy just finding destinations. And yeah, I was able to fit a little bit of dirt road riding in, but to me that's enough. It's just getting out on the motorcycle, whether it be mostly pavement, mostly dirt, whatever it is. Big Bend offers that. You get a little bit of dirt road riding, a little bit of primitive camping, plus you're on your motorcycle. What more could you ask for? Especially when it's cold and miserable, maybe where you're at, and you just want to get out and go somewhere. This can offer that. Get into the heat of March and April, and then even in October, November, and enjoy just being on the bike. If you're worried about how to get there, there's plenty of state parks in Texas that offer camping. You can just camp your way through. If you look, depending on where you're coming from, you'll be able to find ways to get there if you don't want to do hotels or different things like that. There's plenty of state parks. So the number 1 reason why you should consider going to Big Bend is because it's a motorcycle trip when a lot of different places are not available. Like I had said before, early spring, late fall, consider it. All right, if you do go to Big Bend, one of the places that I recommend you stop by is outside of Marfa to the northwest is the Prada store that you've probably seen pictures of. If you haven't, you'll see a picture shown right now of this art piece right outside of Marfa. It's fun to stop there. It's a bit iconic. It has some history to it. So that's off Highway 90. Do that. If you're in the area, you're likely never going to see that again, so take the time to get over to it. I think that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video and it inspires you to get out there and ride. I will see you out there. Wait till we stop hearing it bang around. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. I really need to be able to block off